horsepower gains to custom enhancement, we deliver results. Late Model Racecraft. We talking or we racing?
Welcome back to the channel, guys. Behind me, 2018 C7 Grand Sport Corvette, one of our good customers from out of state. Older gentleman, but a gearhead, and has been a gearhead for many years. It's not a car that's gonna sit in the garage and just collect dust and wipe it and have fun with it. He actually is gonna take this thing out in the street, burn some rubber on the street as well as the track. And this car started off like many do. Mr. Haynes called us for just a supercharger only for the C7 Corvette. So we started off with just an ECS supercharger only. We call it like our 650 supercharged package. So I think it was a supercharger really only is where we started with. Then he came back for more mods. I think so went from, let's call them 380 rear wheel horsepower to 500 rear wheel horsepower for just a supercharger. Then I want more horsepower, Steven. So brings it back. We then pull the motor out, do our complete cam package. Because it had a blower on it, we went ahead and did a drop-in forged piston at that time, as well as the long tube headers, plugs, wires, pretty much a 93 octane, 7-8 pounds of boost that was nice and safe. So it went from 500 rear wheel horsepower roughly to right over 600 rear wheel horsepower, which was a nice car to drive. It had a cam in it. He liked the lope on it. Again, he's a old muscle car guy, so he understands engines and how they work. So he wanted something where he can still play around with. He likes changing the spark plugs himself. He changes the oil himself. He does his maintenance himself, but still wants to go to the track and have fun with the car. So he had the car for, man, probably over a year with 600 rear wheel horsepower. And said, all right, now we want more. So today, we are now added a complete fuel system to it so he can run on E85 or 93 octane. And what that does is that allows us to turn the supercharger, spin it a little bit harder to make a little bit more boost. And then with the E85, the burn inside the cylinder is a much colder burn, so it picks up horsepower, as well as it allows me as a tuner to put more timing in it to make more horsepower. So we went from right over 600 rear wheel horsepower to almost 800 rear wheel horsepower now, with about right at 12 pounds of boost is where we keep this supercharger kit at with the intercooler that's on it. It's not a really big air-to-air intercooler, so the air temps, you got to keep them to a minimum, especially in this heat here. But so we did a low side fuel system this go around. We did the bigger DI injectors, and we did the bigger mechanical fuel pump, as well as the complete flex fuel sensors you see here, which allows us to, it tells the computer how much ethanol is in the content of the fuel. So whether he's running straight 93 octane, which is 10% ethanol, or straight E85, this will tell the computer the ethanol content, and in the tune, it will automatically correct fueling for it. As y'all have seen in most of our videos, ethanol, straight E85 roughly is about 30% more fuel to burn than 93 octane. But for this car now, for him to go from, I'm gonna call it 620, 630 rear wheel horsepower to almost 800 rear wheel horsepower is a whole new animal now. So Mr. Haynes is gonna have his hands full. He does have Toyos on the back of it, but from a dig, it's gonna be a handful in first and second. With traction control on, I think he can do second gear would be okay, but for most of his pulls, they're gonna be 60 to 130s, starting off in third gear. But all in all, it turned out badass. It sounds good. With the Toyos on it, we're gonna go test it now and let y'all hear it and see what she does. All right, so on top of the fuel system, guys, we also put a P3 gauge in it as well, so the customer can see and read the ethanol content. You can see right now it's at 74%. And that way, when customers like him, he's out of state, sometimes if they want to go on a long road trip, they put 93 octane in it because it lasts longer, or you can't get 85 where you're at. When you go back and forth so many times, at least this gives you an idea of where you're at, so you're not guessing in your head, oh, I probably have around 30% or 40%. That tells you right there exactly how much it has, as well as you can scroll through it to read intake air temps, oil temps, coolant temps, pretty much anything that the CAN bus system reads, that we read in the scanner for the most part, there's a lot of gauges he can read. He's the guy that wants to play with his car. He's gonna want to monitor different stuff besides just ethanol. And like I said, he's been to our shop now multiple times for upgrades over and over again. I think he's gonna be satisfied with 800 rear wheel horsepower for quite a while, but in the future, when he does want more, as I know he will, a stronger engine, the stock rods and stock crank is okay, but the stock rods, 850, 900 rear wheel horsepower is about the most I want to see it, especially for him that's using it and abusing the car and racing it a lot. So a new engine with good rods, good pistons, and even a new crankshaft, and then to make over 850 rear wheel horsepower reliably, bigger supercharger and a bigger intercooler. Having we can spin that supercharger harder, but the little intercooler that it's on, I call it little, to try to make like 1,000 rear wheel horsepower, it just will not support it. The airflow going across the core is not big enough, and the intake air temps will get so hot that the car will not want to accelerate. I have to pull out so much timing for the air temps getting so hot, it's just not worth the gain. So if Mr. Haynes wants more in the future, stronger engine, he already has the fuel system, so stronger engine, bigger supercharger, and then 850 to 1,000 rear wheel horsepower can be a reliable, fun car for him to drive. But what he's about to hop in now, compared to where he was 2 weeks ago, night and day difference. Let's go see. We'll do a third gear pull. Test the shift points, then pull over and look at the logs. Yeah, buddy. Shift points, I think it actually shifted higher than I wanted it to, so I'll pull over and look at the logs. Commanding usually around 6,800 on a car like this with the camshaft in it. I think it was closer to 7,000, but again, my log will tell me. And we are in the 5s for a 60 to 130, so pretty quick car for a customer that's gonna have fun with this thing and do what we just did over and over again. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Give it a like if you liked it so far. And please turn on bell notifications for future content, as we have cool stuff in the pipeline that you're going to want to see. And as always, please comment below.